Hello guys, good day. So here I'm going to be showing you the software Pixellab. All right. So this particular video, I'll be showing you the know-how of the Pixellab. Okay, what the software is all about, and how you can find your way around it. All right. So first, my name is Dariemi, and okay, so let's start from this interface. Now, once you open the Pixellab, all right, fresh, you would find it like this, except for those parts showing my project. You will not find this here because you've not done anything actually. So this is how the interface is going to look like. So starting out, you need to find out how each of these interface works. This this you know understand what they stand for, and as well as you know how to use them. So only when you understand this will you be able to figure out, okay, what do I press now, what do I do from here, how do I use this one, how do I use that one. And so if you have checked my designs most times, or you meet me for the first time, you would notice that most of my designs look like, okay, this thing is not all the smartphone, but it is actually, even from the scratch. Like you can see here, there is no template here on the Pixellab. Everything is from a the scratch, this four cornered workspace. All right, and so just for you to know that in time, this space is called a workspace, this empty space where you can see here. All right, and so every single design you can see, let me take you through my gallery as we begin. So everything you see as you begin to check the Pixellab designs, you would realize that everything was done on Pixellab alone. All right, these are Pixellab designs. You can see everything is done from the scratch. So what makes you come from this to this is the first ideal understanding of how the software works, and your corresponding knowledge of graphic design and its application. So no matter the complexity of the design, talk about this, talk about which ones, talk about this, everything is done on Pixellab from the scratch. All right, and so um just trying to show you how possible, all right, this is. And so it's not something you bring, it's not a rocket science. All right, even this as well, though this was not designed by me, it was designed by a friend using my phone, but this was not designed by me as well. One of my students did this, but he did it with Pixellab as well. All right, so I did this from the scratch as well from Pixellab. So what I'm trying to let you know from by showing you this is that regardless of the complexity or sophistication, perceived sophistication anyway, of the design, it's all achievable on Pixellab from this, all right, to this or whatever design you want to bring to your workspace. So having understood that, let's go back here and let's say, so how does this really work? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start from the top, which is this plus that you can see here, and I'll make sure I'm not too slow, neither I'm too fast, so that we can understand this. So let's start from here. You would see this plus. So once you tap on plus, it gives you a drop down of 6 options. Number one is text, number two current date, number three sticker, number four shapes, five from gallery, and five drops. So I'm going to take time to explain all of this, so just follow very carefully. So tap on plus, you see text, that is, it gives you the option of new text, which you can actually edit or do and modify alongside. So that's what that's let's delete that. Number two is current date, like today's date. All right, so it brings you here. Then tap on about the sticker, so it brings you here. For stickers, there are different kinds of stickers you may want to put in your design. Approved, this, Now, many persons do not actually know all of this because it's an intrinsic feature. People just like, okay, they don't really use it. Even myself, I don't use it. So it's not about people. I don't really use it. So light flares and all of these things, majority of persons who use Pixellab, I can tell you, do not even know. Not that they don't even use. They don't even know that these things are there. While myself that knows, I seldom use it. The only one I use is that first one that I first showed. That's the that light stuff. You know, this one. That's what I really use. So do you understand? So that's that. So let's move on. Next is shapes. So shapes here, you have the square as a default, and if you tap on this drop on this icon, it gives you a drop down of different shapes. All right, you can change, you can do all of that and that. So that's that for that. So the next is tap on plus again from gallery. Now from gallery means that you're going to your gallery to bring in either a picture or a shape that you've downloaded. So for instance, you can have something like this. So you tap on from gallery, it takes you to your media folder, which of course includes your recent pictures and all of other things. So if you want to work with pictures, like you can just go something like okay, let's check photos. You can just pick anything from here. All right, so let's check downloaded for any. So you can bring in a picture like this 20, a label like this. You can bring in any of this. You can see this is guaranteed. This is labels. You can bring icons, you can see pictures, you can bring in anything it is you want to bring into your workspace, as you can see here for something like this. So was how I did it. You would notice this here. All right, so although it's looking sharper, but then that's the work of editing and all of that. So that's how that works. Now this background has not been removed. All right, you may have to remove the background if you have something like this. So that's that for the first one. Then draw, that's the last one. So for the draw tool is a very interesting tool that you would grow to learn as you progress. So you can actually draw anything. You can use for signature, you want to sign, anything like that. All right, but sites that I use the draw tool in a very interesting way, something like this. I okay, just so we are cool, let me do something very quickly. All right, now watch this. Let me go to my photos, then I would let me check downloads, and I'll bring in a picture so you can get it. Now this is a picture downloaded without background, so let's use that. Let's use this picture here. All right, so I don't want to move too fast, so let's just take it something like, let's use something like this. uh yeah, so let's do something like this. I don't want to move too fast, although I will explain these features I'm using for now. I would explain them, but let me just do something like this. Now this is how draw works. I can decide to trace this picture slightly. What do? I reduce the pen size to 1 or 2, and I just change it to white for the contrast, and I can just go like something like this. All right, if I want to be very meticulous, I can zoom out and just go this way. You know, that's how it works for the draw tool. So you can use to effect traces and all of that. So that's that, by the way. So let's move on to the next thing here. All right, so that the next thing here is this one. And of course, if you're familiar with computer or smartphone already, or a laptop or something, just familiar with tech, you would know this means save. So which means once you're done with anything here, to save it, to just tap here and we select either save as a project. Save as a project means you want to save it as a work or a design you can always come back to retrieve. also or continue working on later. All right. So the second option is you can save as image. So when you tap save as image, it means you can save as a picture, which then brings you. So when you tap save as picture, you can see it in your Pixellab. So we can be sure. Let's try something. So we have this and we have this. So let's tap on save as image. Now when you tap on save as image, you can see Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, WhatsApp, Instagram, Tumblr, and what's this other last one? I I can't figure out this one. Dropbox. Yeah, I think I'm correct. Dropbox and Tumblr. Then so you save as JPEG or PNG, but this already has a background, so definitely it's going to be JPEG, JPG. Then you tap on default, tap on this arrow, and you select Ultra. So you can see Ultra, very high, medium, low, custom. So Ultra is the one that makes it so sharp. All right, so and very clear. Then you can see image saved, and of course in our Pixellab it will definitely reflect once you open it. All right, so just wait for a while. Think my phone. So you're going to see it there. It will definitely reflect in your photos. So let's check it again. Okay, I guess my phone is a bit funny. So you saw saved as picture already. So it's going to reflect. Just to be sure, let me check my WhatsApp because I was sure that's saved. So let's see. Alright, you can see it's already saved. So it's my phone gallery acting funny. Alright, so let's go back to our Pixellab. So here we are. Now the next one here is this button, the share button. So once you tap on share, you can either decide to share to Facebook, all of this, but of course I really don't use it because you will also will not always use it because you just have to save first before sharing. So let's say the save button here and the share button works alike. The next one you can see here is the quote button. So the quote button is going to give you an option that is Pixellab has an inbuilt feature of quotes that you can select from. If you're working on a random quote and you want to put your picture somewhere like this and you want to just do something simple, after a storm comes a calm, something like that. All right, so you can use a quote like this, apply it to your picture, and of course use it for whatever it is you want to use it for. So that's how that works. So instead of stressing yourself trying to look for a quote on Google or something, Pixellab has an inbuilt feature that contains, let's count how many: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Okay. Because of time, I won't be able to count all of that. So that's over 60 different codes. Amazing. All right. So let's move on to the next thing we've got here. So the next here is these three ellipses, let me know, standing ellipses, three dots you can see here. So the three dots contain a number of options. So let's just explore that very quickly. Now look at that. You can see number one is use image from gallery. So the same feature that we noticed earlier on when we tapped on plus from gallery, use image from gallery, they are both the same. So the next one you can see is full screen. That is, it allows you to see your picture, your design without all of those other things showing. So to collapse it, to tap on this icon that we can see on our screen here, all right, which is the collapse button, and we collapse it back. So Tap on it again, you can see use image from camera. Now, instead of picking a picture from your gallery, a previously stored picture, when you tap on use image from camera, you are able to, pick, you're able to pick picture directly from your camera from snapping it. All right. So the next thing is export image. So export image is like you're done downloading, sorry, you're done designing and you want to save it. So when you tap on export image, it brings you back to the same feature that the save button offers you and the exact same feature that the share button offers you. So you can see some of those features work together. All right. So image size. Image size here shows you the size of your design. So for instance, if you're working on a YouTube channel banner, the size will be different, as you can see. If you're working on something else like a Facebook cover art, the size would be different, smaller, of course. And so if you're working on a different, like a Twitter header size, it will be different, smaller. So if you're working on a flyer, you should know that you will go for square because it has to be the same. It works for Facebook, Instagram, and other social media flyers basically are always square. So this is why we have something like this. So the next thing here is contact us. That's the for the software, which is the Pixellab. So it requires data, and my data is not on. However, if our data is on, there's really nothing we want to report. So we don't need that. So for tutorials, you can tap on tutorials and you get access to see other tutorials on Pixellab. All right. Now, the next thing is recover autosave. So, what is recover autosave? Now, this software is very. Before I explain how it works, let me explain why you should know about it and why it's so important. So, recover autosave is very interesting because it helps you recover designs that you did, probably did not finish up, or it's just recent designs that you might still want to work on. And if you're used to or you're familiar with Microsoft Office Word, Microsoft Office Word, it has something auto recovery file. So you're working on a file and then you left off to do something else and you're coming back to use the software. It can ask you to, okay, where did you stop? This is the point you stop. You want to continue working or you want to go on to another job. So the autosaves helps you to recover files you probably did not save before you finished before you closed the software the last time. So this is a recent design. All right. So if I choose this, it's going to open my last design and it's just going to say, are you sure you want to recover the autosaved state? Now if I type on OK, the one I'm working on presently will go. So if I ever want to do an auto save, what is on my screen presently has to be saved already. All right, so you can see that. So that is the recent file. So if I'm going for something like this, you can see I will not locate that because I didn't save it. Did you get? So let's try to see our auto save. You can find it. Okay, so let's check auto save. You can see here. So it's back. So if I actually let's do something. Now let me close the software, the Pixellab, and go there again. You can see an autosave of your last session is available. Do you want to recover it? So each time you come to the Pixellab app, it shows you this. But however, if you ever tap on cancel without recovering it, when you have not saved the last time, you may not find it anymore. So be careful whenever you're making a decision at this point. So here we'll tap OK so we can continue working. All right, so here open PLP file. Now, I want to believe that if you get this course, you get access to the PLP file as well. But then if not, let me just explain straight away. So what PLP file is simple. So PLP file is the raw file of a pixel app design. So for instance, you're working on a design, all right, and then you want other persons to work on it, or somebody was working on the design and they want you to continue working on it. You're going to create it as a PLP file, and then you will open it and you can work on it. So someone once shared a PLP file recently, and I will just open it so we can try to see how we can go about that. All right. So to open a PLP file is simple. You have to install it first. So you see, tap on this PLP. You can see here, here. Sorry. All right. Tap on it, and it takes you to a folders. All right. So I just go to PL. Sorry. Most times, usually from WhatsApp. So most times, usually from WhatsApp. So all I just need to go to is to check my WhatsApp. All right. Okay. Documents. So I should find PLPs here. So these are PLPs shared with me for me to continue working on. And so I just go on something like this. Okay, let me pick this. Open and add. All right. So go back and you can find the design here. All right. So this is a PLP file I got and I worked on and I improved. So this okay. This was the last time I opened it. It was here. All right. So this was the way the software looked like. You may want to screenshot at this point. All right. So take a look at how it was when I opened it and how I improved the design. Okay. You can see that. Now take a screenshot and compare both. So you would see the difference. So which means that when you get a POP file from WhatsApp or any other person who is sharing with you, you can improve it here. The same thing, you working on a design here, you can share with someone else and they also improve the design. So that's that about PLP files. Then for about, it's just showing you the software details and you really have no business here. And so the last thing here is the exit. Are you sure you want to exit Pixellab? Cancel. Okay, cancel. Let's go back to where we are coming from. So we are done with all of this. We're done with all of this here. So let's move on to the next line. Now, take a look at this. Sorry. This is okay. This is the undo button. Unfortunately, the Pixel app does not have the redo button. It only has the undo button. So whatever it is you're doing, you have to be very careful so you don't make mistakes that you won't be able to correct. So it only has the undo button, doesn't have the redo button. Let me say that again. It only has the undo button, doesn't have the redo button. So whatever you undo sometimes may not be redone. So be careful when you are undoing anything. All right. Or sorry, undoing anything, I mean. So the next thing is here, the zoom button. Now the zoom button is very interesting because it helps you spot details and work critically on certain areas. So for instance, I tap on it like this and I place my two thumbs on the screen and I zoom out, zoom out. So if I want to edit the face, I zoom out like this, and I now the zoom out has a limit which is 500, like you can see, but that's very considerable. So I zoom out to get details, smaller details. So if I notice there is an error I want to work on or a spelling I want to check, I just zoom out and like this, right? I zoom out, I'm able to see carefully. So that's how that works. Now the next thing here is the grid button. So the grid button here shows you, right, the delineation of your screen. Now how this works for me is very amazing. And if I would tell you, this is one of the best parts of Pixellab I like to use so much, and really helps me come out with neat, well arranged, and professional designs. So let me just show you how it works. Now this grid shows you, the delineation, like I said earlier on. So it works together with two buttons that will show here. So once I tap on the grid button, pay attention to this side. All right, just watch the screen. Once I tap on the grid button, pay attention to this side I just circled. All right, now look at this. So once you tap here, you can see two buttons are shown here. All right, which is one showing like hue and one showing like the grid button with the setting. All right, so what happens when you do this is that you okay, so let me do this together. All right, so once you tap on the grid button like this, and you tap on this button, you are able to move these lines one at a time. So now watch how I use this. The first thing I do, so when I want to do is start a design, is I use my grid button to measure the limit of my text. So for a better result and explanation on this, let me change the design we have here. Let me bring in another design so we can have something nicer to work with. All right, so okay, just pay close attention to this. Just pay close attention to this. All right, all right. Look at this. Okay, so first thing I do is I put my grid line like this, and here, here, and here. So this box is going to show me this is where your design starts, this is where your design ends. So my designs don't exceed those lines. So it's a measurement. It's a way of giving a gauge, a grid, to your design. And so it can also help you centralize it. You can reduce, you can delete, you can increase it, you can create multiple lines like this. You can still create multiple lines if you want. Can create multiple lines. Now you will get to use this better when you begin to work on smaller details. For instance, when my friend worked on this particular design here, he used um he used the grid very well, because that was what helped him separate the screen into three parts, which of course he eventually printed this design. Yeah, he eventually printed it, designed on my phone here, and he printed it. Okay, so that's how it works. So that's what grid helps you to do basically. It separates your elements and gives you this, okay, this is where my designs stopping, this is where they are ending. And so when you zoom out something like this, you can see this as a page, different page, and a different page. So that's how the grid line works. Now, trust me, you would get to understand these things better as you progress, because you will start using them and you'll be able to understand as you put them to practice. However, for now, that's what you need to actually understand about that. So let's move on to the next part of the feature we're working with here. All right, now this is let me call it the labels, or sorry, should I call it let's call it flap. All right, now these things, they don't not need you to be complicated about them. You don't need complex terms, so we can get it. Let's just call it flaps. Let's call it flaps. All right, just follow my lead carefully and you'll be fine. All right, now why you need to pay attention to this is that it contains the major parts of your design. So for to explain this one, let me just open a very simple, very small design. All right, so let's use this. Let's use this. Okay, this has been distorted. Okay, let me use a very simple design. Okay, this is simple as well. This is simple as well. Let's just all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, now look at this design. You can see the elements here. We have texts, which are these ones, texts. All right, texts. Then we have pictures. All right, you have this and you have this. Then you have shapes, which is this. So these things you can see on the screen. All right, they are all different elements. All right, that constitute the layers that we're going to be seeing when you tap on this icon that I described as flaps. Or a better word for it can still be layers. Do you understand? So these are layers. All right, so let's just check. So for every picture, for every element, for every text, it forms a layer. So this is one layer, second layer, third layer. Even this line showing faintly here is going to constitute a layer. I think that's been locked. So let's just explore that area. Pay attention here, please, so that you can understand easily. So once you tap here, you can see the first this. So all of this is showing you all of the elements that have been used in this design. So if you check another design, it will be simpler than that if much elements were not used. All right, so let's check something like this. You would see the elements that were used. So all of the designs used here are the elements you would see in your layers, which I described as flaps. All right, so let's return to that particular design so we can work with what we've got. Now watch this. So once you tap on this part I called layers or flaps, you would realize that we have something inside. So there are five major parts of this, or let me say six, so that you can get it easily. So let me mark those six parts that you need to pay attention to inside this layer. So this is one, showing the 8 dots. Number two, which is the space here. Three, which is the lock. Five, which is the I button. Here, which is the pen button, and here, which is the delete button. So how do these six elements work, or six parts work? So number one is, you see those 6 dots you're seeing. If you place your hand around that side and you drag it, you can actually change the position of that element. You can see that I can drag it anywhere. So let's practicalize this. Now look at this. Okay, look at this. You would notice that virginity is on top of this banana. All right, the text virginity is on top of the banana. But if I check that virginity text, the text of virginity, and I drag it under the picture, it will go back. It will go to the back of the picture. So let's just try that out. Now watch your screen. So let's locate the text first. Okay, so this is the text here, virginity. And where's the picture of the banana? All right, it's right here. So let's do that again. Now you can see the picture, sorry, the text of the virginity test. Sorry, not virginity test. The text for virginity. So let's tap on the 6 dots here and long press and drag. So if you drag long enough, you would get to the base of the picture and you will see there. All right, so you can drag and just pause again because the location of that picture is a bit far. All right, now there's a simpler way to do this. I'm just trying to explain that part of that thing. So we have it here, and then you come this way. We're almost there. 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 All right. Okay. Okay. You get something like this. All right. So now this is it. Let's take it to the back, which means the banana picture will be on top of it. So you notice what has happened? It has gone to the back of the picture. You will notice that it is still being highlighted. You can see the red picture, the red text beneath it. All right. So all I need to tap here is front. You get to know that you can see it's back. So that's how it works. So then the next thing here is the lock. Is once I tap on the lock here and it shows red to activate it, I cannot move that text anymore. Even if I tap on it, it cannot be tapped on, it cannot move, it is locked. While others are moving, the virginity text cannot move because it has been locked. All right, so the next is edit. So once you tap on the edit here, six or eight other features come out. All right, which is the pen, which is to edit it. All right, the next is copy. It copies it. You can see you have it in two places now. All right, so the next is you can make it smaller or bigger. All right, so the next is that you can rotate it like this. So the next is that you are able to shift it to the right, center, you know, top, center, mid, mid, down, like this and like that. So that's that. Next is you can change the color from here. All right, so the next is you can take it to the front, you can take it to the back. So that's that about that. Then for the last one, which for the next one, which is eye, when you tap on the eye icon here, you won't see it anymore. It is locked and it's not visible. So for this, the last one is the delete. When you tap on delete, it's gone except you tap on undo. However, you cannot redo the delete. That's the problem I said earlier on. You cannot redo the delete. So you have to delete again, but you can undo it. Do you understand? So that's how it works. So I think that's that about that area for the labels. All right, which is the flap. So let's move on to the next part, which is the bottom area, and so we'll continue that in the module 2. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Darayemi, and I believe you've had so much experience learning this so far. Thank you, and God bless you.